Man, diamond, diamond. I wanna dance with you, okay?
I love
Grooving. You know we be moving and grooving in this
we
kitchen
gotta
here,
get
okay?
it. We gotta get it in. What's going on, Lord Ty?
Hey, welcome, King. Thanks for tuning in. You know we about to groove it up today. We got this smoothie bowl, this pound cake. Ooh. Hey, I say if you gonna have to switch in the desserts, make your own. All right, make your own. It saves you a lot of trouble and heart. Hey, put it back. All right. Okay, there we go. I think I'm back in. Can you hear me? You can hear me. It's just every single Saturday.
I can
She
hear you,
called me
boo.
right when I'm getting on the show. Like, what you doing? Chilling right now, seeing what's on the menu or friend you. Okay, so well, on the friend you, we're making smoothie bowls. So get your favorite frozen fruits together. I actually didn't get a chance to get some bananas. I love putting me some bananas in there. It thickens it up, but it's okay. Well, I had some yogurt. Okay, so she just came. My daughter, she just came and took the yogurt. Hold on, let me. Still the. And then it has the nerve to just sit in the middle of the well, right off with the yogurt. Like I said, nothing to her about it. But I've been trying like different seasonings, okay, in my smoothies. So I'm gonna show y'all how I spice up my smoothies. Hey, welcome. Got your pen and paper ready? Okay, smoothie time. All right, so I've been seasoning my smoothies with I bought some turmeric powder. This is actually better than fresh turmeric because it's more concentrated. So if you use fresh turmeric, you'll actually have to use a whole lot more of it to get the same benefits. So just get some ground dry turmeric. This wasn't expensive, and even though it's organic, it's the same price as all of the other brands pretty much. So I was like, well, I may as well, get. And then it's in a nice little glass bottle. So I like the glass preferably for the stuff that I like to use for, like their medicinal benefits because glass doesn't interact as much with the compounds and the spices and stuff like that. So I prefer glass if I can find it, but plastic is okay too. And with that, you do have to add pepper to it because I don't know, some of y'all might have been seeing my post on my Facebook if you follow me, and I'll put that turmeric in my smoothie. Yes, it's a sweet fruit smoothie that's yummy and tasty and all that, and I put my turmeric in there, but you also have to put black pepper in it, okay? Not so much that it makes it spicy or whatever. You don't have to, you're not seasoning it like that. That's why I say seasoning, because it's not really like to taste what you're putting in it. It's to get the benefits out of what you're adding to it. So with turmeric, you have to add black pepper. Fresh ground black pepper is better, but black pepper is necessary because the compound in black pepper called piperine activates the curcumin in the turmeric and makes it easier for our bodies to absorb it. Because curcumin is not easily absorbed, but that's the active anti-inflammatory, like the good property in the turmeric that makes it useful for its anti-inflammatory properties, but we don't absorb it that well. So piperine increases that absorption and makes it worthwhile. All right. So I'm pulling out my blender now, and I'm actually gonna end up putting this in one. I got my cute little heart bowl from my Valentine's Day recipes. So I'm gonna put my smoothie bowls in these to go with my little slice of pound cake once we get that going. So I'm just gonna set this over to the side, and instead of what we got. So if you want to sweeten your smoothie, instead of using regular sugar, we getting the processed stuff out of here. You can get you some honey. I think this is like, oh, Giant Eagle. So this is just regular store brand honey. Most honey is honey. It's what it says it is. And this is my fancy $10, and they tell you the exact flower that the bees collected the nectar for this particular honey from. So you can get as fancy or as regular as you want with your sweeteners. You can use maple syrup. So let me see, I got a jug of maple syrup up here so I can show y'all. And really, if you don't want to add any sugars, like these are all added sugars. Even though these are natural sources of sugar, they're all added sugar. It still counts as added sugar, okay? So this is my maple syrup. It's real standard, and the only ingredient I believe is maple syrup. Yes, maple syrup. So if you get a bottle of syrup, I think we might have some, because my mom liked the Mrs. Butters. Yeah, here we go. So you see, this is not maple syrup, okay? The first ingredient on here is corn syrup. Corn syrup. Not maple syrup, okay? This is not maple syrup. So, okay, this what my mama uses. I don't use this one. I use this one because it's maple syrup, okay? So that's the difference. You see all these ingredients. You got corn syrup, high fructose corn syrup, that poison I've been telling you all about, water, salt, natural and artificial flavor. So it might have a little bit of maple syrup in it for the flavor. Cellulose gum, caramel color. So this is usually probably like a clear or a lighter color syrup, and they have to color it to make it darker like this. So nothing against Aunt Jemima, okay? I was raised on it, all right? I definitely ate it as a kid, but when you're making conscious decisions, you have to be conscious about what's in this ingredient list. So one ingredient for your sugar, for your added sugar, okay? If what it says on the front of the bottle, what they selling you ain't the ingredient on the back, leave it on the shelf, okay? So these are your options. You can use agave syrup, stevia, whatever your flavor is for your added sugar. You can definitely use that in your smoothie bowl. I will also suggest using fruit juice. So if you have like some fresh squeezed juice, or you tend to buy juice, or even juice concentrate, let me see, we might have one in here, or I think my mom used it in the Kool-Aid. But you know, the little frozen concentrate, they have like the Old Orchard and those different kinds of brands of frozen juice concentrate. You can definitely make up a little pitcher of that, and boom, you got some nice sweet juice that you can add to your smoothies and sweeten it up. Now, the only difference between a regular smoothie and a smoothie bowl is that you tend to keep it thicker so that it's more spoonable, so you can spoon it. You can also make a regular smoothie, and if you don't finish it, you can pour it into a bowl and like kind of freeze it, and then as it thaws out, it's thicker so that you can actually spoon it and eat it with the spoon. And then we're going to go over some of the toppings for this as well. So I got my homemade granola up here. I keep some of that handy. Oh, I moved it. And chia seeds. So this is my granola. This has pumpkin seeds. It's some chia seeds in it. What I got in here? Raisins. No, those are craisins, dried cranberries, and sunflower seeds. So you can definitely make your own granola mix like this. And I think there's some dates in here too. I was getting real saucy with this. It's some dates in here too, apparently. I'm not sure when that occurred, but yeah. So dates are also a nice sweetener. So if you want to add dates to your smoothie bowl or your smoothie instead to sweeten up your smoothie, you can definitely do that. Dates are very high in fiber, and they have a very healthy source of sugar in them as well. So we're going to get this going. I'm using whole fat yogurt because that's what my daughter's on her WIC. But you don't have to use any dairy in this. It's not necessary nor required. This is just for the sake of waste not, want not. Okay, they gave it to me. It's free. It's free 99. Okay, I didn't have to do anything for this, but have a baby, so we're gonna use it. And for the most part, I usually use my oat milk for a lot of my like shakes and stuff like that. Good for the bowels too. It definitely is. Yeah, dates very good for the bowels. They're kind of like on the same lines as like prunes and stuff like that. So dried fruit. That's basically what they are. Dried fruit. Raisins are dried grapes. Prunes, dried plums, dates, dried out. What are those? Figs, dates, dates. They're dates. They're dates. They didn't change. They didn't bother to go through the trouble of changing the name. So this is just my Aldi. I got this from Aldi. I love their frozen fruit blends. No, there's no sugar added to these, and I love the freshness of the fruit. So the fruit is very fresh and it tends to be really sweet on its own. So I rarely add extra sweeteners to my smoothies and stuff like that. I was just showing y'all some examples. If y'all, want to have them sweeter than what you would normally eat them as, then by all means, go ahead. And I keep some ginger. I freeze it because it makes it easier to just shave it. So I'm gonna add it in. Sometimes I usually just top it with it, but I'm gonna go ahead and add it into the blend, the mix here. So I got my little grater here. Y'all can see the blender. Make sure y'all see what I'm doing. And then I'm gonna just grate it on in there. Skin and all, it's all right. Because usually it grates it down so fine, I can't really taste none of that anyway once it's all mixed together. And you just get a nice spicy ginger flavor. Because like ginger is spice and it doesn't, it's not like spicy like pepper, but it does have a slight little kick to it. And I like that because it lightens up the flavor of the shake or smoothie or whatever I'm blending up. And then here I have some mint leaves, so I'm going to drop a couple of mint leaves in there. Mint is a very invigorating, revitalizing type flavor, and mint is very good for your digestion. It helps soothe your stomach and other things, and digestion and all that, and it also helps with after breath. Freshens that breath a little bit, okay? So, no, because you know I like to put it. I gotta taste it, all right. If it's gonna be in there, I want to taste it. So I put a couple of leaves in there. And at this point, if you want to add any greens to it, like spinach and stuff, you definitely can. I'm not this time. But usually I do. I keep a bag of frozen spinach. So this started off as fresh spinach. This was fresh spinach leaves that I bought. The baby spinach leaves I bought in a bag. And then when they were starting to like try and wilt on me, I just chopped them up, put them in a bag, and froze it. So very easy to keep. And then that stuff is best to use frozen and not thawed out, like, so once you freeze it, it's got to be like going into something cooked or something blended. So keep that in mind. Now, if this isn't, and this actually has a setting for a smoothie bowl, so I'm going to show y'all. This is why I love Ninja, okay? So it has a setting smoothie, and I just set it to bowl, and what it's going to do is it's going to blend it so that it stays, thick enough for a smoothie bowl, right? It's going to be a little... she's laughing because she know when she hear that blender going, something good coming out there. So she want to see. She like, let me see what's going on. All right, so let me put some of this down on the side because this didn't quite get in there. I probably should have used the smaller container for this because I have this thing. I probably should have used this for the amount that I made, but it's all right. Gonna be all right. Cause I definitely want, and it's still like chunky. So I'm gonna scoop it down in there, and I'm just gonna post it until the rest of this stuff blends in. How you gonna take my lid? You making a mess on the floor, bub. She's real quick with grabbing it too. Yep. Yeah, the ninja. Yeah, fancy. I just got this sucker. This was a very good purchase, and it has like a bread blade, so I can make doughs and stuff like that without tiring my arm out or having to get a whole separate like mixer type situation. So I love it. And I didn't add any sugar to this because I'm planning on eating it with my cream cheese pound cake, which is going to be sweet enough. So also keep that in mind when you pairing your stuff together. Keep in mind how much sugar is going to be in everything overall, so you don't overdo it in your per serving situation. So that's another thing that I think some people tend to let get away from them a little bit, is how much sugar is in everything you're eating in that one sitting. So especially that's why I like making my own everything, because then I can control how much sugar is in different things. So a cake, you obviously want that to be sweet because that's the purpose of the cake. Yeah. No, I haven't made it. I just took it out just in case because it needs to soften up. But here, let me slide this bowl over so I can pour this into my little bowls here, and we're gonna top it with some of this granola. And that's why I put all of this stuff in my granola like from junk, so I don't have to go looking for this container with that stuff in it and that container with that stuff in it. So I just put all the other toppings and stuff that I knew I would normally use with my granola in my granola jar. So, keep it simple, all right?
How many sticks are you using?
3. Oh no, but that's perfectly fine. Because it's not going to be as soft as I need them to be, so the half sticks are better to mix in. So now we're just going to pour this in our little serving bowls here. And, that's good. It almost looks like ice cream. Froyo! Homemade froyo!
On the balcony.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, because it's like 9 degrees outside.
Yeah.
So that is, and it looks really cute. It's like pink. It's like pink with little flecks of green in there. It almost looks like a little Christmas, like a Christmas smoothie bowl. Christmas in July. Well, August. We in August already, but you know what I'm saying. Oh, my little earpiece trying to fall out. All right. And then to keep this from melting, we're just going to pop this in the freezer while we bake our cake up. Safety first, because these blades are sharp. I done already cut the mess out of myself on one of these trying to clean it the wrong way. It comes with a brush. I did not use the brush to clean the blades, and I sliced my finger wide open. But luckily, I didn't need stitches or nothing. I pulled my hand back quick, okay? The reflexes was real quick, but yeah. Shouldn't have been doing it anyway. That's why safety procedures matter. Alright, so move this to the freezer section. And I already have, like this, I already made some smoothie pots. So these are my own little homemade, fruit smoothie freeze pots. So when I want something cold, a nice cold treat that ain't gonna have me all bloated and busted and disgusted, I already got it made in the freezer. Okay. So now, and this is my topping for my smoothie bowl. So when we get ready, we're gonna sprinkle a little bit of that on there and keep it. Okay, so this recipe calls for cake flour. The only difference between cake flour and regular flour is there's cornstarch in it. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, and then we're gonna have to sift it together. So I got my sifter. We're gonna sift it together. I was gonna do this like before the show, but I feel like this is something useful to share with y'all, to show y'all how we doing this. So I got my flour here, and we need 3 cups of cake flour. So for every 1 cup of flour, you're gonna spoon out 2 tablespoons of flour and spoon in 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. Okay, so we're gonna. I don't know. I think this might just be. I think we're cutting it close, all right? Because I didn't know that was almost gone. But we're cutting it close on the cornstarch. But that's how you make cake flour. So for every 1 cup of flour, you need 2 tablespoons. Tablespoons or teaspoons? Let me double check. Measure, spoon, and level. Yep, you got to spoon and level it. Yeah, it's 2 tablespoons. Okay, hey, like I said, measure twice at once. So I have to double check on that to make sure I was doing the right amount. So here we go. So we're gonna put our 3 cups in, and I'm using a different cup because the spoon and level method, you want to use a different spoon or cup to measure your flour, because the way flour settles and packs in and stuff, you could end up measuring out almost twice as much flour as what you intended on measuring by just scooping it with the cup that you're trying to measure it with. Okay, and then let me get a knife here. A butter knife will do just fine. And then we're gonna make sure that stuff fills in, and then we just scrape it across the top. So that's the spoon and level method, all right? So that's 1 cup, and then we're gonna get our tablespoon. I actually have this scoop. This is actually, I think one of these cc's is close to a tablespoon, all right? And we're gonna scoop that, all right? And that's 2 scoops of that gone. All right, and then we're gonna put it right into our sifter. We're gonna do that 2 more times because we need 3 cups. And this is why, like, baking from scratch takes a little bit more time, because you do need to be a little bit more precise with your measurements and all of that stuff, because the amount of flour can make you have a very, very dry cake. Okay, we want moist cakes over here, not dry cake. Because you have a dry cake, you trying to serve somebody some dry pound cake, they're going to talk about your dry pound cake. Okay? I know I will. I ain't going to talk about it behind your back, though. I'm definitely going to tell you to your face, like, it's a little dry, but it's still tasty. Don't worry, we ain't all criticism over here. I'm gonna tell you what you might have did right, but I'm definitely gonna let you know it's a little dry though, so you might want to tweak that, double check that recipe, tweak it or something. You know, with cake, it's not just about flavor. That texture matters. Texture matters. Okay. So this is the last cup right here, and we're going to level this off. Oop. And then we're going to scoop these out. Okay. And it goes in there. And so now, because I still need this measuring cup for the sugar, and now we add our cornstarch. Okay, I think I'm going to end up needing all of this. It's looking like I'm going to need all of this. Yeah. Add that to the grocery list. Cornstarch. All right. And then we just gonna mix it. And so this is how you get that nice, fine cake flour going, okay? So that's what these are for. It gets the clumps out and makes sure all of that cornstarch is mixed in through it nicely. Okay, and I'm actually gonna double sift it. So it says sift it twice actually. So now into the actual bowl I'm gonna mix this stuff in. I'm gonna pour this back into my sifter and we're gonna run this back, okay? Run it back. Some of it missing, but that's okay. Yeah, that's why I said double sifted, because it was a whole clump of cornstarch right in the middle of that flour that wasn't mixed in. We want this mixed all the way through, okay? Through and through. And this thing, I actually got this at the grocery store in the little section where all the little baking utensils and stuff is. And, you know, they have several different ones. I like the traditional looking one. It's metal with the hand crank, okay? What's the point of doing it from scratch if you can't do it like how Big Mama did it, right? I'm going to be somebody's Big Mama one day. One day, I am. I ain't going to have the arm fat that they say if it wasn't made with the arm fat, then it ain't good. But no, I ain't going to have the arm fat because we moving healthy now. You can have soul food that's good for the body, all right? And then with our sugar, we need 2.5 cups. What was that? Oh, it was a piece of the bag. Then broke off in the sugar. Two. And see, this is why I didn't put any sugar in the in my smoothie bowl, because there's a lot of sugar in this. But the thing with this is that your serving size for this cake is supposed to be like a little sliver slice. You're not supposed to go and eat half the pound cake in one sitting, because you are taking in a lot of sugar, as you can see. So we moving smart with this. Let me get my mixer. So I'm probably gonna need to mix my cream cheese and stuff in this separate bowl. So that's usually how they do it. Hey, you put all the dry stuff in one bowl, and then you do all the wet stuff in another bowl. Okay. And the whole key with this is getting everything mixed up good and completely. Plug that in, get that ready. And we gotta get our egg. 5. One more. We have like a little egg holder, a little egg container that we put in the refrigerator. Now I'm working a little backward here because all of this stuff was supposed to be sitting out already, because you want all of these ingredients to be room temperature. You want it to be warm because it's going to make the mixing easier. It's going to make it kind of combining and getting soft and fluffy and all of that. It's going to make all of that stuff occur a whole lot better. So all of this stuff is supposed to be sitting out. You don't want to have it sitting out for longer than like an hour or so. Most stuff that needs to stay refrigerated, you only get about 2 hours countertop time, okay? Once it hit room temperature, then you on a ticking clock. And that's food safety 101 right there. So, yeah, I got my recipe over here. That's why I keep make sure y'all can see me here. I think that way. Is that better? That's much better. I can see what I'm doing, what y'all seeing me doing better too. All right, so we got our oven preheated, and I'm actually gonna grease this pan with actual butter. I prefer to do that for my cakes and stuff because I'm like, it's already rich. Ain't no need to cut corners. It's already rich, and it's a dessert, so it's not meant to fill you up or something you're supposed to be eating all day long anyway, okay? So, you know, we practicing some self-control over here. Like I said, also the easiest way to break a habit is make it hard to do. So if the only access you have to sweets and stuff is the sweets that you bake and bake for yourself, trust me, you're gonna eat a whole lot less. Because this is it can get very time consuming, especially depending on what it is you're making. Like cheesecake takes forever, but trust me, it was definitely worth the time and the effort put into making that cheesecake. Like for certain, like that was my first time making that cheesecake, and it was amazing. But because it took so long, it takes like a couple of hours, and then you gotta let it set overnight in the refrigerator after it cools in the oven. You have to like slow cool it, and that keeps it from cracking and all of that. So it takes a couple of hours, like maybe 4 to 6 hours to make it, and then it takes like an overnight sit and chill for it to set properly, and you know all of the flavors and stuff to get up in there the right way. So that's why we're only doing cheesecake like once or twice a year. Okay. Okay, so let me go get this butter. It's some condensation on the butter because she set it out on the balcony to help it warm up. But it's still kind of cool on the inside. But it's all right. We just going to have to beat it a little bit longer to warm it up and smooth it out. All right, because we want this creamy. All right, creamy. These are half sticks, so that's why it looks like it's so much. But it's 3 full sticks of butter. Because we making big cakes. And whatever don't fit in this pan, I'm going to just put in like a little, because I have a bundt cake pan for this. But I also have like a little bread pan. So whatever don't fit in the bundt cake pan, we just going to drop in the bread pan, and we're going to have 2 cakes. That's that on that. All right. Butter everywhere. And I use real butter. Like, don't use margarine for nothing, all right? Unless you need to butter or grease the door hinge, that's what margarine is good for. We're not putting no margarine in our bodies, so margarine is not better than butter. So if you're trying to avoid fats and stuff, then don't eat stuff that got butter in it. Okay? Duda. She didn't came with the noodles. Okay, so I don't know if y'all can see, I'm trying to put it where y'all can see it without getting butter and stuff all over all over the picture here. I'll set this on same situation. There. Okay. All right, so what's going on here is I'm blending the butter. All right. And like I said, I didn't have my butter sitting out to get warm like I was supposed to, the little hard-headed mess. So now the butter is hard, okay, and that's going to be a little bit of a problem. So I'm just mashing it up first before I start blending it to try and help that along a little bit so it's not like flying all over the place. Had I not been hard-headed, this process would be a whole lot easier at this point. So this is why, okay, you don't be hard-headed on the directions. So let all your ingredients sit out for a little bit. You don't want to have them sitting out longer than 2 hours, though. So if you have to, set a timer so that you know when you need to go ahead and get to your business. But other than that, you definitely don't want to be stuck using cold ingredients like I am. Alright, so now we're going to start the blending. Cold butter. Okay, and you see it, it's all in between the thing on here, so we can scrape that out as best we can so we can finish smoothing this on up. Sheesh. Scrape this down into the bowl. So y'all getting a first-hand view of why you need your ingredients to be room temperature, because if this butter was not cold, this would be whipped up and done and wouldn't be clogging up my beaters right now. So, that's the part of working smarter and not harder. Definitely end up working harder on that one. Okay. Do that. Get this out the side. Okay. And that's as good as we're going to get with that one. All right. So now we're going to scrape it down, and then we're going to have to add one egg at a time. Is this? I don't add the sugar yet. Okay, yeah. So first was cream cheese. Now the cream cheese, I wasn't playing with that. I set that on the preheated oven. So this probably about on its way to being melted, because I had this sitting on the stove since we've been doing the smoothie bowls and stuff. So we're going to mix in our cream cheese, and then we're going to mix in the sugar. Okay, and this is still kind of cold too. So 1 8-ounce package of cream cheese. It don't have to be nobody fancy because I don't know. I haven't seen the difference in the brand for that. I think it's mostly like how it tastes, like the flavor for it, but other than that. And then we got our, so instead of using cream cheese, I use some of that yogurt. Because I told y'all it's free. So we gonna stretch that into as much as we can. So I had that sitting out. That's why that was a little bit creamier than normal. Bless you, Dee. Bless you. And this is good too, because with the mixing and stuff, it's actually warming the butter up. So this whole process is slowly getting easier. It could have started out easy though. And we blend that. Okay. And then, what we see? Right. So smooth and combine. Smooth and combine. So you can do this. It says beat for about a minute or until it's smooth and combined. And then, and all this is beat on high speed. And then we're going to add in the sugar. So I ended up putting my sugar on top of my flour, but it's all right. We're going to scoop a little bit of that out. And if you have more hands doing this, trust me, it's going to work out a whole lot easier because really this is supposed to be added while you're beating. So it mixes in a lot easier and a lot better if you add your sugar and stuff in as the mixer is going. That's why people have the pastry mixers with the standing bowl and the standing mixer and all that stuff. That's why. Because then they don't have to actually stop mixing it to add any of this stuff in. This was a whole lot more sugar than I thought it was. That's how much sugar you expect 1.5 cups to be. Alright. You about to make me break my neck, girl, with this stuff on the floor. Crank it up to high speed. You want this nice and creamy. Okay, the creamier you get this mix, the nice and fluffier and moist that cake gonna be. Okay, we're going to scrape down the sides and we're going to run this through again. And it's nice and creamy too. And that's what we're looking for. And you want to make sure your sugar is mixed all the way in. Where does egg come from? I'm about to lose the egg off the counter. Bless you. You ready for some cake, Bud? Is that why you're hanging around? Because she's so looking. Like, you know what's going on. She's like, I know what's going on when you get the mix and stuff. Trying to split some of this stuff off the spatula. Okay, and then we're going to add this vanilla extract. I said 2 teaspoons. That's about 2 teaspoons. Okay, now we're going to start adding our eggs one by one. All right, and we're going to mix this on low. And the key here, you don't want to overmix the eggs into this, and you want to overmix the flour in either. So we're going to take our time. Baby, we can do it. Take your time, do it right. We can do it, baby. Do it tonight. Boom. You know we listen to oldies and goldies over here. So we're going to put it on one. And we'll mix this in. Okay, so, but you want to make sure it's all the way mixed in. So you don't want to overmix, but you want a complete mix. And we're being careful to get no shells up in there, okay? You don't want no crunchy cake. And no crumb cake. Okay, let me just scrape that. Kind of hide out on the side. And so this is making like for some very creamy, a very creamy medium right here. And it's gonna be so fluffy when it's mixed in with cake flour. Oh my! Ooh! Lost an egg. Oh my! And this is why it's important to make sure you're using a clean surface when you first start. Because I'm definitely going to scoop this. Because I already sanitized my countertop. Oh no. And I just got eggs all on the floor. I'm going to wipe that back on down. Yep, that's why a clean kitchen is so important. I'm just glad it didn't fall on the floor. I'd have been, oh no! Egg down, egg in distress. This is getting so fluffy. And it's starting to get kind of like a yellow tone to it from these eggs I'm adding in here. So this is getting I'm getting rich vibes, rich girl vibes. If I was a rich girl, na 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 na. Welcome to my head where it's a 24-hour disco. Okay. And I did need some baking powder in my flour over here. Half a teaspoon, so a dash. Let's go. Okay, so we beat in our eggs, and we add the cake flour, baking powder, and we beat on medium just until combined. So we're going to move this to the big bowl situation, all right? This is so like creamy and frothy and foamy, and oh my goodness. Houston, we have a delicious situation. I need to, oh, I got my egg mix on my mixer vent hole. Oops, my bad, mixer. Can you please stop taking all the noodles into the... She keep coming in here taking bags of ramen noodles. Because I don't know what's going on with this. Let me... and we just gonna hope that thing clogs up my mixing. Thick and creamy. This don't even feel like there's any flour or nothing in here. How pretty this stuff looks. Oh, it's about to go down in the cake pan. Going down in the cake pan. Yes, apparently I make a song for everything in my head. If the song hasn't already been made, I have no problem with making one up, okay? And so we don't want to overmix it, so I think everything is mixed in. We're going to scrape the sides one time, make sure there ain't no dry stuff hiding out nowhere. And we may give it one more run through, but like I said, on this part, you don't want to overmix it because the key to this is keeping it nice and frothy and foamy and fluffy and creamy. Okay, so, and this is also why I prefer to bake my own stuff, because like this is the fun part. Like just going to the store and buy, that's not the fun. The eating part is not the fun part. The baking it is the fun part. And then when it turns out really good, like you're like, oh, this tastes better than something I could have bought in the store. Then you get that extra sense of pride and satisfaction, like I did this with my own two hands. Okay. And I believe that is all. That's it, that's all. And then we're going to put this in the pan. Yep. Spatula situation. And then we're going to get this in there. Ooh, ooh. Don't miss that egg. Get on in this pan. Get right on up in this pan, all right? Okay, so and you know how the extra long recipes, I will post my finished product, my finished cake in the group. So make sure if y'all are not in the Facebook group that y'all have found us on Facebook, Rock Truth Cafe Live. You can follow me. My name is Octavia M. Jones on Facebook. I pop right up. It's a picture of me and my baby and my profile pic. And you can find out what groups I'm a part of from there, and find Rock Truth Cafe Live and all of that stuff. And drop your recipes, because I definitely love trying other people's recipes, because most of the recipes I don't have to be other people's recipes anyway, all right? we just doing it here for us, all right? All right, so the rest of this is going to have to go in a little separate bread pan, but this going to be it, and we're going to bump it on the counter a couple of times to get any air bubbles up out of there. Level that out. This is so like creamy and thick, and like I just know this about to be so bomb. Like this why I love baking. I love baking my own stuff, because it definitely turns out like you can feel it when it's mixing. Like, yeah, this the mix right here. This gonna do it. We're gonna put that in another pan, and then we just trying to make sure I ain't no bubbles up in there unnecessarily. There's a little gap right there I'm really trying to close. So I make sure it settles in there. All right. And then pop that in the oven. Let me get this other bread. This one right here. Move on. Like I said, we're going to butter this. But my whole thing, especially like with the smoothie bowls, is that they are extremely personalizable, okay? So, like I said, the easiest way to make a habit is make it easy. The easiest way to break a habit is to make it hard. So if you have a habit of grabbing that donut and all that stuff, make it hard. Don't buy donuts. Don't keep that stuff in your house. If you're driving on your way past one, take a different route to work. I'm pretty sure there's more than one way to get to wherever you're going. You don't have to pass that donuts or whatever, wherever you stopping and getting that mess. You don't have to go that way, all right? Ask your GPS, ask Siri, ask somebody for a different route, and then avoid that donut place if you know you don't have the self-control at the time to stay out of it. And there's this book I'm actually like kind of binge reading right now called Atomic Habits, and he talks about that, like how people who break addictions and things like that aren't necessarily like higher on the self-discipline and willpower scale, but what they do is they make it where they don't have to have as much willpower or discipline, so they avoid putting themselves in temptation situations. All right, you avoid the situation that brings on temptation. You don't have to have willpower to avoid it because you ain't even in it. That's why Former alcoholics don't go in bars. They don't have to exercise willpower to avoid drinking if they're not in a place where drinks are served and drink all over the place and all in their face. So keep that in mind. If you know you got your little sweet tooth going crazy, stay away from them routes that got the bakeries and all the other stuff in it, because it's going to hit the air and you're going to smell it and it's going to trigger you. Because I definitely get triggered driving past them places where it's smelling all sweet and stuff, all that sweetness in the air. I'm like, what's that? And it'd be the factory. I'm ready to pull up at the factory. Like, y'all got any extras? Y'all got any extras y'all trying to? Any failed batches? This is just my little extra pan right here. This probably gonna be the pan I end up sending to my friend, because I've been sharing my extras and stuff with him, because he's been real nice. So I'm like, yeah, I could feed you. I got plenty to spare. I had made like a scallop soup the other day. That was so delicious, and I just threw it. It was something I just really threw together. And he was like, well, make sure you keep doing something together and keep me in mind. Because he works all the time. So I'm like, I know he ain't really got time to be cooking like nothing useful or worth eating. Like, he be trying, he been trying to get on his health. So I'm more than happy to help and support, okay? I'm supporting my kings and queens out here in they health endeavors, all right? Because the only person that's going to do it for you is you. But when you get that extra support, man, look, when you got support, So I tasted a little bit of the batter on that spatula. It tastes like cake frosting. I'm trying to figure out how we making a cake from cake frosting, but it's okay. It's gonna bake up and it's gonna be a cake frosting cake. So this has to bake for a long time, for 75 to 95 minutes. That's why y'all not gonna see it here. But when it's done baking, I'm definitely gonna post it, and I'm gonna show y'all how I cut off my little piece, okay? Because this is very sweet. You saw how much sugar I put in this. My little piece of cake to go with my very healthy smoothie bowl with no sugar added. And if you do still eat dairy, yogurt is a very good source of probiotics. So that gets your gut bacteria right. If you've been having lady issues with bacteria or yeast and things like that, having yogurt added to your diet can definitely help balance some of that stuff out. Especially if you eat a lot of processed foods and sugars, it's ruining your microbiome, which is all the little bacteria and viruses and stuff that live in your gut and in your digestive system. It helps you break down food and absorb nutrients. So if they die, guess what you can't do? Break down food and absorb nutrients, and that's going to affect all kinds of things all over your body, including your feminine health and your hormone balance. So we having healthy hormone balances out here, all right? Also getting you some fermented vegetables. So this is, the company name is Kraut. Like I said, I've never heard of these people. I just saw it and I grabbed it. I was like, oh, fermented, because I haven't had any like sauerkraut or kimchi or nothing like that in a minute. All of those are fermented vegetables. So they usually use cabbage. That one actually has cabbage, carrots, and beets, and it's all raw. It's not cooked. It just has a little fermenting medium on it, so probably like some vinegar and some type of bacterial culture that ferments it. And then you can also have your drink. So you got kombucha. Kombucha is a type of fermented drink that has bacterial and yeast cultures in it. So all of that stuff adds to your gut microbiome that helps strengthen and support your immune system. So if you have a weak immune system, you may want to look at the type of foods you're eating, because you're probably destroying all of the bacteria that help keep you healthy. So, whew. That being and then so this is, and it's already kind of solid, as you can see. Like, I can't put my finger in it, but by the time that is done, I'm gonna take these out and let them start to thaw a little bit, and these are gonna be little smoothie bowls, gonna be cute and delicious. Okay, so I tasted a little bit off the cup when I was pouring them, so Those are tasty too. Tastes like I got the tropical blend. You can definitely use, like I said, fresh fruit, but you'll probably have to add like some ice instead of using like all liquid. So if you use a fruit juice, try freezing the fruit juice if you're using fresh fruit, or buy like fresh fruit, cut it up, and then freeze it before you actually blend your smoothie bowl together, and it'll keep it nice and thick so you can spoon it out. And then once I thaw that out, I'm gonna pour about, so a serving of granola is usually like a fourth of a cup to like usually about like a tablespoon or two is decent for a granola serving, because granola has its own carbs and sugars and stuff in it, but because it's oats, it has a ton of fiber as well, so it's not gonna hit your bloodstream the way like processed carbs and things do, so you end up with a sugar spike. So with granola, you get a lot of sugar and carbs, but you don't get the sugar spike because it comes with a lot of fiber. So that's the key to keeping the blood sugar down and the insulin resistance away, is to eat your fiber. What has fiber in it? Plants, fruit, vegetables, that type of situation. Whole grain, oats, chia seeds, ton of fiber per like tablespoon. I think it's like a tablespoon or two has like 11 grams of fiber. Like, it's a ridiculous amount of fiber. So make sure you're getting that stuff in. This stuff, my grape nuts, they are kind of hard and crunchy, but they have a lot of fiber in them too. This has 7 grams of fiber per serving, which I think is like a half a cup. So this has a lot of fiber in it. Whole grains, okay? Whew, it's hot in here, so we gonna get ready to go to the pool today. And I will see y'all next month, because yeah, we're coming up on the end of the month, so we'll be back in September. What is it? What day is this? The 2nd? Is that? No, the 4th is, I believe, is a Saturday. So we'll be back September 4th. I haven't put together the whole menu, but we will be having a guest next month. I'm excited. Ooh. So we're gonna plan out what we're gonna be doing with her, and I will be back with y'all. I will post the recipe in the group, so make sure you find us on Facebook at RockTruthCafeLIVE. You can follow me, Octavia M. Jones, on Facebook, and you can find the group that way. You can't search it and find it that way. You can follow me and find it, and I usually post the recipes from my page as well. And today, that is this evening, right? Yeah, because last week we didn't have it. Yeah, that sounds right. It's Rock Bottom. So it's every other Saturday with Queen Tina Gadine at 7 p.m. Eastern. Is that right? 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central. Because I always get the time zones mixed up. I usually just know my time zone was just Eastern. And, of course, as always, we rock truth here, or nothing at all. See y'all next week.